Visited the chamber in Perry and just watched and learned from how they created their program. And I thought, I want to do this for one of our counties.
Yeah.
And we started small. So Crawford County was our first county that we pursued our youth leadership program, which is what it was called then. In 2013, we kicked it off.
A production of Flint Energies, your local touch-tone energy cooperative. Front Porch Chats brings you along while we share interesting events, places to go, important programs, and hidden gems located in Central and Southwest Georgia. Grab a glass of iced tea while we chat for a spell.
I'm your host, Natalie Bradley, and today we are talking about our youth leadership program called Empower. Right now, it's a rural regional program where we have 7 different counties involved, and later you'll get to enjoy an interview or two from some of our students who have gone through the program. But first, I want you to hear from a very special friend and colleague at Flint Energies, Laquita McCrary. She is now the Vice President of Corporate Services, but way back in the day, she actually had my job.
I did, Natalie.
Yay, so welcome.
Thank you.
I thought it would be fun to have you on the podcast so that you can talk about where this program began, because it was all you.
Absolutely. So I was selected for a very new position back in May 2012. It was derived from strategic planning session. Flint was looking for someone to be more visible in our rural areas.
Okay.
Our rural counties, they weren't getting very much recognition.
Mhm.
We always had a lot of things going on in Houston County. And so out of the strategic planning came this position called the Community Connections Specialist. And I applied, and because of my ties with Taylor County, having served on the Board of Education as a board member.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. So
you knew all the people.
I knew all the people.
Yes.
I knew how to get into those schools. And so I had a lot of affiliations here in the county, born and raised.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew everyone, and I ended up applying and was selected for that Community Connection Specialist position back in May of 2012.
I mean, it seems like that was yesterday.
I know. I know.
You know, I can remember that very, very well. It's like the joke about when you think about 30 years ago, it's in the 70s, but it was really the 90s.
That's right.
Which
That's
is a little
right.
horrifying. So,
That's right.
but really, that wasn't that long ago. That was like 15 years ago.
Exactly. And so I guess from my time where I was board member for the Taylor County Board of Education, my time serving on the Chamber of Commerce here in Taylor County, and then becoming a chamber member of the Roberta Crawford County Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
And so I had ties in our communities. And so from my connections, it was just like they felt like I was well suited to go out and pursue the mission of really reaching out to our rural counties, especially the students.
Yes.
So
that's the perfect segue into.
It really was. Goals were set, and I was told, make this your own.
Oh, okay.
Make this your own, because no one else had a title in the EMCs of a community connection specialist. And so I sort of just kind of started attending the local meetings, chambers, county commissioners, the first responders. I just started involving myself and inputting myself into anything that was in Marion, Sly, Talbot, Taylor, Crawford, even over in Muskogee. So I went to all these rural counties. Some had chambers, some did not. So it was like really interesting to see what was being offered to the locals. And I discovered that it wasn't very much. So that first year was just trying to discover what was available to our citizens in the rural area and just getting plugged in. After that first year, I visited the youth leadership program in Perry.
Oh.
And
so that's where you kind of got the idea for it.
I did.
Okay.
So, you know, our saying, our theme is admire and acquire.
That's right.
Yeah. So I visited the chamber in Perry and just watched and learned from how they created their program. And I thought, I want to do this for one of our counties.
Yeah.
And we started small. So Crawford County was our first county that we pursued our youth leadership program, which is what it was called then. In 2013, we kicked it off.
That's great. And they're still a major part of the program today.
Absolutely.
And Miss Patty, she was there when you were there, and she's still there.
She was there when I started, and she's still there. Has always been very influential, very helpful in getting those students. Our first year,
supporter.
Yeah, we had about 12 students, and it was amazing. Some of those kids had never even been out of their county. I mean, had never left the county, didn't know where anything was. So for 12 months, we planned a trip once a month, taking these students somewhere, even within the county, but we did have some excursions outside the county, and we were funded by whatever Flint provided at the time and whatever the chamber could provide at that time. So starting off, it was a struggle.
Yeah.
It was a struggle. But we did make plans to have those students visit the local and county offices within their community to learn more about what goes on just within their small town. And then it led up to us going to have a visit at the state capitol.
Yes.
And so I know that you can continue to lead that charge, and it has really grown. And I've tried to keep up with those students from then, but kind of lost touch with many of them. Miss Patty has kind of kept up with a few of them, but I think they're doing well.
Yes.
So it's just wonderful and amazing to see how much it has grown from when I did that back in 2013 until what you've made it become today.
Well, can you imagine, like, if you hadn't seen that we needed that? I mean, we would be so far behind right now,
as we already were.
Yeah.
So,
well, in the rural counties, I mean, it's truly a struggle because the resources are not there, whether it's, money, staff, volunteers, like everything is stretched super thin comparatively.
And then I guess, you look at the socio-economic background, and you have parents who, some are really involved and some just really are not.
Yes.
And so you have to look for that community support when you don't have the financial support.
Absolutely.
Coming in. So a lot of parents were like really thankful that their kids had this opportunity because, again, some had never gone. One of our visits that was so memorable to me was trying to prepare these students for success, and how some would say, I don't have enough clothes to wear.
Yeah.
And we were able to go over to Belk on Riverside Drive over at Rivers Crossing, the new mall. And the lady in Belk actually spent a day with these students with just showing them how 3 pieces and a scarf or a tie or something could just really enhance their look day to day. And it really, I think, which is why I love the name now, it empowered them to say, hey, I may not have all the designer clothing or the,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I can take what I have and add something to it, and it looks different on the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish that they still had that. I've reached out to that company a couple times, and they just don't have somebody. COVID fried a lot of stuff.
It did. So, yeah.
But it sounded like I think our kids could still actually benefit from that in particular. So, and I mean, everybody that knows me personally knows that I get really emotionally invested in my work.
Yes.
And so I tend to be a little extra with with things like that, because I get very strongly I get very passionate, let's just say that, about them, especially, you get to know these kids inside and out. But when we first started, and you had just told me briefly, some of the things that you had done with the program when I came on, and we, decided to just go for it with, making it a regional program with my background and then what y'all had done and kind of marrying the two together. And I mean, it was a heavy lift going to each of the counties and the school systems, with some of them getting them to buy in. Some were very resistant.
They were.
Of course, now they're our biggest cheerleaders because they're like, what were we thinking? But interviewing the kids, I mean, I genuinely sat in the car after Macon County was my first one, and then, which is where I'm originally from. But every single one of them, the same thing happened. I just sat in the car and I cried. after every single one. And it's because a lot of them, you hear these are failing school systems in some of these counties. You hear only the negative, it feels like.
That's right.
But these kids are smart.
And have so much potential.
They have so much
and it's
to
being
offer.
left on the table.
Yes.
It's like we've got to pull that
well,
from
and a lot of them are gifted in ways that they've been cut because, again, resources are scarce in comparison to, rural compared to more urban areas or more populated areas. And like fine arts, I mean, that's always the first thing to go, which breaks my heart.
Right.
Because that's all the things that I'm good at are fine arts. So I am not an athlete.
Yes.
So I'm married an athlete and I'm very much so not one. And it's, these kids that are just sitting there saying, there's not much for me.
That's right.
And they're musicians, they're poets, they're creative writers, they're artists, they're, all those things, they're dancers, and they're just looking at us like, please, can you help me?
us? Yes. Find us something to do. Yeah.
And a lot of what I feel like the kids learn, whether it was back in 2013 or now, it's, yes, we have a curriculum for them to go learn, but it's the stuff that happens in between.
That's right.
That's, I think, the biggest gift that we're giving the kids and giving to ourselves. Like, it's such a gift to me, too, to experience.
Yes.
Because I wouldn't get to know these kids and how incredible, like, what incredible human beings they are. They all have giant hearts because we're looking for that. We're not just looking for people that want to build their resume.
Right.
And they're just... oh my gosh, they're just incredible. I mean, so a lot of them are star students this year.
Yeah, amazing.
Crawford and Macon County, they're star students from our graduating class last year. And we're going to see more next year. I know we have some of the kids that have been selected for the statewide, what is it called? The Superintendent's Board.
Wow.
And I mean, like over 1,700 kids apply for that and like 70 something were selected. Like that's a big deal.
That's a big deal. That's amazing.
It's just really interesting to me to see, how we're able to do this. And we work for a company that supports that.
Absolutely. Because initially, again, we didn't have the support, which is why we went to the chamber.
Yeah.
We went to the Board of Education because we knew we were going to need help with transportation.
Yeah. They don't have cars, a lot of these kids.
These kids do not have means to get to and from the event. So it was like, we knew it was our duty. In order for this to succeed, we had to provide that everything for them to show them what else was out there for them.
Absolutely.
Whether they move away, but the whole purpose of it was go to college, come back, and bring forth more for your community.
Yes.
So it was always like a big lift, like you said, and I am just amazed to see how well you've carried this program.
Oh, I love you. I'll pay you later.
I mean, that is the truth. I was like, these kids, like, even now, they have matching swag. Starting off a year ago, or 13 years ago, but that first year, we just had them to wear khakis and a nice shirt.
Yeah.
They didn't
and that was one of the things that was an obstacle, even the first year doing this, for me, seeing that some of our kids, like you said, like they didn't have something that they felt good wearing. They didn't feel good about themselves.
That's right.
And if you look good, you feel good.
That's right.
And I mean, everybody knows that. Everybody's experienced that to some level. And so this was the first year that we did the matching polos and matching sweatshirts. And anybody that has a teenager also probably knows they love to wear a hoodie.
Oh, yes.
And look like they just rolled out of bed when they show up.
That's right.
I've got a teenager too, and I'm like, why the hoodie? It's 98 degrees outside.
That's right.
Like, I don't understand. But that's what they showed up. So I was like, I'm not going to fight it. We're going to embrace this, but we're going to give them a sweatshirt that actually looks nice.
That's right.
And they're well branded and everything says Flint and Empower on it. But that's one of the comments that we've gotten from all the programs we've gone to is they see us coming as a group. And they're like, gosh, y'all look sharp.
Yes.
And again, we've got a lot of artists. So my really artsy kids, they'll add a tie to their polo and sweatshirt, but it looks like sharp. I mean, they look good, and they're able to express their own personal style, their creativity, even with a partial uniform.
That's right. And everybody needs their own identity, and because
which we love that.
That's right. If you mask that, then you're holding back again so much potential that youth has and goes unrecognized.
Yes. And we need to celebrate that and encourage it for sure.
Yeah.
And I just think, I need to do a podcast episode on the cooperative difference and just really talk about that more, because I know everybody thinks about Flint, it's a power company, but just like this podcast, we never talk about power.
That's right.
I mean, unless we're, talking about a Flint employee where that's their job is to keep the lights on or, work on that side of things, which is obviously the most important thing. But we're a cooperative. So the whole cooperative model is based off of those 7 principles, and we'll go into that on another episode. I know that I've got to get that done, but the concern for the community is a giant one that Flint really embraces, and other EMCs across the state and across the nation. I mean, they look to us because our board does such a great job. Our CEO, our executive team, all of you guys. I mean, we have people that genuinely care. And you can see it.
That's right. And what I've learned over the years in the current position I'm in, and I'm conducting interviews, some of the responses that come from the mouths of these applicants is, I like seeing Flint in the community.
Yeah.
So we're here for more than just collecting your money for your electric bill. We want to show that we care and we want to give back.
Yes. So. Yeah. And it doesn't cost you more money.
That's right. It
does not come from that pile of money, which we will discuss on another episode.
Yes.
So thank you, Laquita. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Natalie.
If you enjoyed today's podcast, we need your help. Please give us a 5-star review wherever you're listening to this podcast. It really does help us get this information out to more people about what's going on in Central and Southwest Georgia. Also, share this podcast on social media with your friends and family because it helps get more eyes and ears on what we have going on in our fabulous communities. Thank you.